Good afternoon. And listen, let me just welcome you and say thank you for tuning in again. And I want to just welcome you to another episode of Tough Talk for Tough Times. And I certainly want to appreciate everyone that tuned in to our last broadcast. I want to tell you it was an exciting broadcast, and that was evidenced by the fact that that was the largest number of viewers that we have ever had. So I thank you all for tuning in. And I hope you will continue to not just listen and look, but to share it as well. I got an interesting topic for you today, and it may not be as exciting as the one we had last time, but I think it's one that needs our attention. I took my grandson to a professional basketball game. It was the first time he had gone to a professional sporting event. And, they began to play our national anthem, right? And so when they played the national anthem, I did not stand. I remained seated. And, of course, my grandson, I could tell that he was somewhat surprised that I would remain seated. And there are a lot of people that also, kind of gave me the evil eye. And so someone asked me, said, hey, why are you sitting? I thought that issue had been resolved. And what he was talking about was, when the football players were taking a knee for the national anthem. And I thought that was resolved. So, why are you still trying to be so defiant and not stand up? And I said to the gentleman, do you realize what the words of the national anthem are? Do you realize what all the words are? And of course he, tells me, of course I do, I can sing it. So I said, do you know all the words to all of the verses in the national anthem? And he said, well, I told you we just sang them, so that's it. I said, no, the national anthem has more than one verse. And although many people aren't aware of this, the national anthem actually has 4 verses. And when you look at the history of the national anthem, not just the idea that, it was a battle and once the battle was over, that Francis Scott Key, who was a young lawyer at the time, that he wrote a poem about the aftermath. But you have to consider his motivation and everything that went into that national anthem. Now, and I know most of us who have ancestors that were African Americans or in the slave market may not understand this, but Francis Scott Key, the author of the national anthem, was a slave owner. And, I get it that, during that time, it was certainly acceptable for people to own slaves. So one might say, well, why is that an issue? Well, I'll tell you why. Because if you look at the 3rd verse of the national anthem, some of what it says is this, is that no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight and the gloom of the grave. Now, if you take a dive into that, it appears to say this, that he was proud to say that not only are we defending our country, but we're also defending the fact that we are so mighty and that these slaves that we own, we stand and let them know that if you think that you can run away during this turmoil, you are wrong. Because I want you to know that no matter what we are going through, you will still have to serve us in our fields, and nothing can save you from that. And that if you do try to escape, that you will end up in one of 2 things, that is facing the terror of the whip, or you will end up in the grave. Now, to me as an African American, I find it difficult to stand up and recognize a song to say that's my national anthem, while it may have been written at a time when it was certainly acceptable in this nation. I would think that at some point in our history that someone would say, hey, listen, let's not consider that because it really denigrates over 1/4 of our population. It makes 1/4 of our population seem as if that they are not worthy to be counted as equal citizens. So my position is simple, and that is, how can I stand up and honor lyrics that suggest that the people that work so hard in the fields, the people that gave birth to my great grandparents, and in the sense that legacy moved on to my grandparents and my parents and on down to me, how can I feel proud of honoring words that denigrate the people that mean so much to me? And so, I was talking one day with one of my brothers, who African American, who happened to have served in the military, and his point to me was this: that it is un-American to not stand for the national anthem. And what I said to him was this: well, why is it that people don't feel the same way about the Negro national anthem, or, we call it the Black national anthem now, but originally it was called the Negro national anthem? Why is it that everyone doesn't feel that they have to stand for that, right? And if they don't stand for that national anthem, no one calls them un-American, and no one calls them that they are not patriotic and that they need to leave this country and go back to where they came from. But the Negro national anthem has no words in it that put other people down. Nowhere does it talk negatively about any group of people. Nowhere does it say anything that would cause any group of people to feel bad or to exacerbate their beginnings, and put them in a place where it says that they are not legitimate human beings worthy of freedom. So it strikes me as being kind of hypocritical for people to tell me that I have to stand for verbiage that lifts up slavery, and in fact is proud to say that those slaves bid not try to run away. If they do, they will face the terror of the night, or they will face the grave. I have a difficult time doing that, and I get people say, well, the first verse doesn't do that. It does none of that. It talks about, them overcoming a battle. Yes, that may be true, but it also talks about what they stood for when they was doing that battle. So for me, I cannot call that to be worthy of my giving it praise. Am I proud to be an American, a U.S. citizen? Of course I am satisfied with that lineage. That's what I am. But that doesn't mean I have to be proud of everything that my country has done, nor proud of everything that my country currently does. And that's just the way it is. So people can get mad at me, and they can say, well, I'm out of step, out of time, because I still refuse to stand for the what we call the national anthem. And I will continue to hold that view until someone says, let's either remove the third verse from what Francis Scott Key wrote, and then we can call it our national anthem, or they modify the words so it does not suggest that Africans that were here should always be subservient to their white masters. I can't stand for that. I can't honor that, because I'm never going to be subservient to a white master. I'm never going to be subservient to any human being, because I am a child of the living God, and he created me equal in every sense with every individual that was created. I may not have the same money that they have. I may not have the same possessions, and they may even be somewhat more, I would say, have higher IQs than I have. But that doesn't make us equal. That doesn't make us unequal. We were still created equal. Now, I may not have strived to do the things that they did, but that doesn't mean we weren't created equal. And therefore, no one will be my master that's on this earth. I only have one master, and that's the God that I serve, and his son, Jesus the Christ, and the Holy Spirit that guides me. And so for those reasons, I cannot give honor to words that say that no refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And it also goes on to say that, and the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph doth wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. As you can see from those last words, it was not talking about us when it said over the land of the free and the home of the brave, because not one white individual during that time felt good about freeing all of Black people. In fact, that was something that was far from what their thinking was. So again, for me, it was not written for Black folk. It was not written to elevate Black folk. It was written to help those white masters appreciate what they had on the backs of Black folks. And I'll tell you, brothers and sisters, Francis Scott Key was a slave owner, proud of what he did and proud of those he enslaved. And this is evident by the words he wrote in the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, this is it for this version. I want to thank you all for watching. I know this is a shorter version than what you normally get, but it just hit me, when someone wanted to look down on me because I would not stand for a song that talks negatively about my ancestors, and they want to look down on me for that. Oh no, no, never will I yield to people who think less of my ancestors, because they were a great people. They were a resilient people. They were a strong people, and they stood tall. And that's tough talk for tough times, I tell you right there. And I would suggest to all African Americans, read the entire words in the Star-Spangled Banner. Read the entire words, especially verse 3. And if you read that, and you tell me you can still be proud of that, of the verbiage in it, you can certainly be proud of America. But if you are proud of the verbiage in that, then we need to have some more conversation. All right, listen, once again, here I am giving you some tough talk for tough times. God bless you. Have a beautiful day.